Dear friends, welcome to YouTube channel and our Dr. Vet channel. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor and Head, Veterinary Medicine. We have seen the paratuberculosis part 1 and part 2. Here we will see paratuberculosis or Jones disease part 3. In this presentation, we'll throw light on diagnosis, differential diagnosis, treatment, prevention, and control. Diagnosis as usual based on by clinician, a clinical science. We know already clinical science that there is diarrhea, later stage there is shooting diarrhea. Animal losing the weight, become lean and thin, there is emaciation, finally there is cachexia, finally hidebound condition and death. Necropsy finding also we know that large intestine, especially cecum and colon is affected. There is thickening, granulomatous lesion on the wall of the intestine. There is corrugation, both longitudinal and transverse. Red corrugation, red stripes found in the cecum and colon. That is the characteristics. Other diagnosis is examination of fecal smears. We know that fecal route is the main route of excretion of organism and organisms are excreted in large numbers in feces. So detection of acid fast bacilli from fecal sample is an important part of immediate diagnosis. They are acid fast just like tuberculosis stained by Janssen test. Another is the smear is prepared from intestinal mucosa that is called as rectal pinch test. The clinician introduces his hand deep into the rectum where fall ahead inside. Then with the help of these nails, he will scratch some of uh, the mucous membrane and bring some of the scratches of the mucous membrane with the feces and stained by acid fast bacilli and examined under the microscope. The smears from associated lymph nodes of the cecum and colon in infected animal are also an important part and confirmatory diagnostic method for the paratuberculosis. But all these are at the last stage of the disease. Early stage it is difficult to provide diagnosis, but some cases when they excrete the bacilli, then it is possible to diagnose it earlier. Fecal culture, isolation of organism by culture in the laboratory. There are a large number of tests for the diagnosis of this Jones disease, but more practical and can be done under the field condition is the intradermal zonin test. It is just like intradermal tuberculin test. The test is similar. It is a field test using zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.2 ml of zonin protein purified derivative at the intradermal injection at the caudal fold or the neck. The reactions of animal are measured before injections, after injections. Then the final skin thickness is measured. If the animal shows a skin thickness above 4 millimeter after 72 hours of injection is considered as positive. But sometimes when two persons measure, there may be a difference of the skin thickness. So at the same time of skin thickness, the other things should also be observed. The important thing is presence of reaction, of the skin at the site of injection should also be taken into account for positive or negative diagnosis. The clinician should also observe the indurated edematous swelling, redness, and pain at the site of injection that also indicates positive or negative cases. There are large number of the tests: complement fixation test, agar gel immune deficiency test, enzyme linked immunofluorescent assay ELISA test used in the assessment of humoral immune response of the paratuberculosis in the animal body. The complement fixation test has been considered a best screening test for the cattle meant for international export and import. Collection of samples. You know that fecal is the only route of excretion. So fecal collection directly from the animal, from the rectum, or dung sample, which is past feces on the ground, that can also be do. Then intestinal mucosa, that is called as rectal pinch. A pinch of intestinal mucosa directly from the animal by introducing hand deep into the rectum as far as possible, and samples from associated lymph node of the infected animals are used for the confirmatory diagnosis of paratuberculosis. Differential diagnosis: the emaciation and or diarrhea is also observed by many infectious and non-infectious diseases also. But some of the diseases are mentioned here: tuberculosis, excessive parasitic infection, salmonellosis, colibacillosis, and rotaviral enteritis are some of the diseases that require to be differentiated from emaciation and or diarrhea caused by this disease. Treatment: the treatment do not give encouraging results, and there is no effective treatment also. Long duration of injection of antibiotics can reduce the severity of symptoms to some extent, but will not cure the disease. Temporarily, the diarrhea can be controlled by some antibiotic injections and non-specific treatment. Long duration of antibiotic treatment will be uneconomic exercise. The cost of treatment will be more than cost of the animal. So it is uneconomic. Combined use of streptomycin, isoniazid, and rifampin is suggested in some countries, but chances of cure is very difficult. The treatment is not undertaken because it will require a long duration, very chronic disease. So it is not going to cure, but animal go on continuously excrete the organism, and during that treatment period it may infect so many animals. That's why it is not advisable to carry out the treatment. The prevention: there are two vaccines: live attenuated freeze dried vaccine and the killed vaccine. Both are commercially available and used in cattle, sheep, and goat against paratuberculosis in New Zealand, not in India. In India, we are not carrying out any vaccination. The killed vaccine is found to reduce the number of organisms excreted. It controls the spread of the infection to some extent, and it reduces the development of lesion in the body. But 100% eradication of disease by vaccination is not possible. The treatment is not carried out, the treatment is not possible, the prevention is also difficult. So solution is the control measures. The control of paratuberculosis mainly depend on early diagnosis of disease by serosurveillance. Earlier the diagnosis, less number of spread of the disease because organisms are less excreted. So early diagnosis and early disposal is very much important. Quarantine of the suspected animals and culling of the infected animals as per the local legislation. Eradication can be achieved by regular vaccination and maintenance of hygiene in the farm. We know that the organisms are excreted in feces, so we have to take care of the feces. Feces must be disposed effectively because the feces spreads the disease. Feces contaminates the many things, water, food, etc. Heavy lime dressing in the farm premises also helps to a great extent because the lime kills the organism. Another important step is a regular testing of herd with a field test, intradermal test. Call the reactors every year. Regular testing is required. Every year, reduction number of cases will be observed. Generally, surveillance relies on serological tests such as complement fixation test and ELISA. They are the confirmatory tests. In other tests, there are a large number of the seropositive or negative cases, false false positive or negative cases. But these two tests, CFT and ELISA, are more confirmatory tests. As we have already seen, antibiotic injections are proved to be ineffective, very expensive, and time consuming also. Cow food vaccination is considered an another method of curtailing the progression of tuberculosis from subclinical to clinical stage because the calf get immediate infection. Calf is highly susceptible. They get the infection is very chronic, and at the later stage, the subclinical infection, the calf become the clinical case. So if calf vaccination is done, then case will not progress or progression will be limited from subclinical to the clinical stages. The disease has got long incubation period, 1 year to 10, 15 years, very long. The organisms are very resistant to external and internal environment conditions. There is continuous shedding of organism through feces. This makes the control of paratuberculosis a very difficult task. We know that the calves are highly susceptible, high risk groupage. So we have to control paratuberculosis in calves. One thing we have seen vaccination. The other thing separation of calves as soon as they were born. The most effective step to control or to prevent the disease. In order to avoid cows from getting infection from them is feeding cows with the pasteurized milk. Friends, you have observed the videos, requested to share to the our veterinarians and other interested persons, requested to subscribe. Thank you very much for observing this video.